Welcome to Shortcut Up CNC. We're going to look at the miter folding box gadget and how it's created. We're going to do a job setup here. Single-sided 2 by 2 by the thickness we're going to use here is 5/8 of an inch, 0.625. Use the material surface. You can use the machine bed if you prefer. And the XY datum for the gadget is centered. And we say OK to that, and we'll go load the get. Well, first change this over to the layers so you can see the layers being added. All right. Here is our interface. You got the box width, box length, the box size, and the material thickness. Right now, these are all the defaults. You change them as required, and also the material thickness. You want to make sure that it's the same as the job setup. And we're going to change this to a 6-inch side, and we're going to make the offset for that particular thickness at 0.25, and we're going to say OK to that. And of course, it's repeating, letting you know that that's what it's created. 12 by 12 by 6, material thickness 0.625, the offset is 0.25, and you have two offsets from the center vector. The center vector is your locating vector for the size of the box. Here it's a 12 by 12 bottom with 6-inch sides measured from the center out to the cutout vector. Okay, and here are all the various layers. You got your center line vectors, the first offset, the second offset, and then the profile cutout from the material board. The four corners here are scrap material. These are your four sides. You can use clamps to hold the four corners down, and it is advisable to use tabs so that the sides stay in place. Because when you cut the center, it may cut through. But I've got the system to where it's leaving a 15 thousandths fold left of material. In other words, if you're uh, cutting 5/8, 6.625, I take 15 thousandths away from that. That makes it 6.1, which is 610. That's how it goes down in the center, leaving some material so that you have it there for the fold and it won't look like it's cut through. Okay, so that is a typical layout for a 12 by 12 box for that particular material thickness 0.625. The gadget as it exists presently does not have tool pathing to it. And the reason I'm not, and I decided that I may not put the tool paths with the gadget because that takes away from you, the user, learning how to create the miters. And the miter is created based on three factors, and they all play a part together with each other. And that is the size of the router bit. It could be a 1/2 inch by a 1/2 inch cutting depth. It could be a 3/8 diameter with a 3/8 cutting height, or you can have one that can cut it all in one whack. Just use a real slow feed speed. I actually have one. It's a 1.25 diameter I don't recall what the depth, the cutting height is, but it can actually cut 5/8 down to a 1/4 inch all in one pass. Just have to use a real slow feed speed. But anyway, that's one factor is your router bit. The other factor is these vectors, the offset. That plays a part. And I'll show you that right here after we load the template that I have created. And once you load the template, you do the calculation. Now I can actually play it so we can see the miter. Preview all toolpaths. And that's all the miters created. Now it's the cutout vector is being used next. All right. I could reduce the amount of passes on that. But anyway, there it cut through. We get rid of the excess material so we can look at the edge, and you see it's a nice clean miter. Now, what I was getting ready to point out is if I turn this on right here, it'll show the layout of the vectors and how they play a part in the creation of the miter. Your router bit, the depth, here we show the depth that goes out, two passes, one to here and one to here. And it's leaving a 15 thousandths material on the bottom there. And if you go to the next one, it's the next offset. Let's see if we can straighten that up a little bit. There you go. The first offset from the center vector. It cuts to there. The depth and the wall of the router bit, it cuts about that much material. And then we'll go to the next one and you'll see what's left for it to cut. And then, of course, he cuts the profile cutout. So there you see how the vectors are, the miters created using the various vectors, the router bit, and the depths. There you have it, folks. The miter folding box gadget. And like I said, you won't have the tool pass with your gadget. You will have to create those and learn how to make those miters. Thank you for watching Shark Cut Up CNC.